everyone is looking
Handsome
sharp.
man.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome guys to Five Sages. Again, every Sunday back with a new guest. Today's guest is a person who's very near and dear to me. Someone that I've learned a lot about over the past 1 year since we've met. There's a lot of there's a lot of things you've changed about my life. Always told you this before. Just perceptions on how you view family, how you view work, how you view the world, and how you keep people always close together, but always in the right direction. There's no violence involved. There's no abuse. It's just everything can be spoken to one another as a human. You don't have to look at someone up and down. So these are things that you've really rubbed off on me, and that's why I told you I would love to have you on the podcast because you've gone through a journey yourself, and we're all about sharing each other's journeys. So why don't you give us a little bit introduction of yourself and
Sure,
take
sure.
us through everything?
Sure. My name is Javier Montoya. I'm originally from Cali, Colombia. Um, my whole life I've been a dreamer, but a dreamer I would say with a set plan. Everything I do in life at the end of the day is to make sure that you enjoy the journey. I'm a person that respect everyone because in my journey I would say I wear different hats, different roles. As an immigrant, when I moved from Colombia to the United States, used to clean bathrooms for living in order to support the family. Used to be a chauffeur, driver, warehouse guy, but I never disconnect myself from the big picture that it was actually a dream that my father put in my head, and I believe in that dream too, that was to become an engineer. And I'm being grateful for all the opportunities that life has provided to me. I would say that always in life, I don't know if you can call it a good luck or a bless, but I always been in the right moment at the right time to receive the right opportunity. Of course, you have to earn it with hard work, perseverance to deliver it with excellence. But that's kind of like the make sure also that I always tell people that you in humanity you have to be humble, right? You cannot be a person that go around just stepping in people's shoes and just treating people bad. Every human being deserves respect, and that's why I also ask for it. And hey, is a happy man with a beautiful wife and 4 kids. Uh, and that's kind of like I would say I'll summarize,
That's
you
good,
know,
that's
the,
good.
When you mentioned about your dad, right? Like you mentioned about your dad implanting this. So your dad's played a major role in your growth. You started from Cali. Was your family still back there? And how was your journey? I'm quite interested in how you started that from childhood, switching to the US, and what your parents or your family has played in a role. Give us a
yeah, no, my dad, I can say that in a big voice. My daddy was I would say the most important person on that side. I'm not taking no credit out of credit of my mom, but my dad in that aspect, always since I was a little kid, he reminded me how important it is to have an education. He put a lot of examples to me. He said, "Hey, I can give you, let's see, $1 million that we didn't have, though. You know, it was just an example. And if you go for business, you can be successful, or maybe you can, lose everything. But whatever you put in your brain, the education they put in your brain, you will carry that always in you, and that's gonna be a tool, a skill that is gonna help you to succeed in life when maybe as a businessman, times are tougher. So my daddy was very instrumental and put that idea, and I don't call it a brainwash. I call it a really good advice, and I took it. I grew up in a very, very difficult, and I don't mind to say my age, I'm 46 years old, so I'm 1978 model, what I said. And Colombia, it was a little bit a tough environment to grow as a child. I remember seeing the first person being murdered in front of my eyes when I was 7 years old. I got out of the school. I was waiting for my parents to pick me up after there's some religion classes that you had to take in order to go for your first communion, right? And that was after class, and then I see this guy in a big SUV being chased by two guys on a motorcycle. He got his skills, and then he turned himself that car in a 180 degree, now facing the motorcycle people, hit the motorcycle people. The motorcycle guys went down the ground. He went up. He got out of his car, got a mini Uzi, and in front of maybe 10 kids, just killed the two guys. Later on in the news, we find out that the guy was a police officer that is being chased by two bad boys that he was trying, hitmen, that they were trying to kill him. So that was my first introduction to violence in Colombia when I was 7 years old. Then my city, coming from Cali, then as you guys have seen maybe in a lot of documentals with Netflix and all that, Narcos and all these things, a lot of that stuff is just fiction, just to be honest with you. But we saw a lot of craziness in the city where two cartels start fighting. This is public news. This is nothing that I'm, saying or something that nobody knows. Two cartels fighting, bomb in Medellin, bomb in Cali. I escaped one bomb for like maybe 5 minutes. I went to this, it was a place where you can buy stuff to do homework like paper, markers and all that, stationery. And then we went with my friend. We got everything, and then we got out. And then 5 minutes later, a car that it was parked in front of the place just blew up. So those things, and to be transparent with you, instead of give me fear or fill me of fear of life, I actually start appreciating that I have one more day to live, right? Because and I never, and if somebody asks me, like if somebody come and say like, what place do you want to be born again? I would choose Colombia again. And even with all the tough moments that we went in the 80s, in the 90s, I'm very proud to be a Colombian citizen. All those tough moments were actually taught us, the people that survived those decades, it taught us for us to look always something to get better. Maybe a better environment to live, better education, so we get another opportunities even outside Colombia or inside Colombia. But it put that seed in your heart that you always are looking to get better. Tomorrow is gonna get better. Tomorrow we will not experience a bomb. Tomorrow, so that looking for tomorrow and that hope that it's gonna get better. It kind of like I would say implant force in myself where I was always trying to get better, and that's why I don't regret at all to be born in the 70s and then experience everything that I experienced. It give you a lot of what they call people be smart in the streets. Then there is a bunch of guys that then is for you it's time to go, right? So it give you all these skills that maybe others don't develop because they were not exposed to that, right?
Correct.
So my father, the city that I'm coming from, that was very key in the person that I am today. And I always tell my kids, the only way that you know where you're going to is if you know where you came from. So I'm very proud of that, and my father, in essential, I will give him the whole credit because he pushed, because I was in a little bit of a difficult environment as a teenager, right? So a lot of people that I know back then may be one option, and I'm not saying that it's the easy option because it's nothing easy dealing with drugs. The stress, your life sometimes is on the line, but the option it was there. The option was there to maybe connect with the bad boys and then go to the jungles of Colombia and buy 1 kilo for maybe $1,000 and then try to send it to Miami and sell it for 13 and New York selling for 23, and this is the numbers that I remember when I was a teenager that it was pumping up in my head, right? So that route right there, it was there, but the influence of my dad, you gotta go to university, whatever it is. Actually, my dad, his ambition it was for me to be a doctor. He said, "No, you gotta be a doctor." But my dad and my brother by themselves, they are engineers.
Nice.
So I had that blood in my house. So I'm like, I don't want to be a doctor. And also a lot of stuff that happens in my childhood, and this is very important. And I would tell the parents, the future parents, to do this is that every Saturday or Sunday when my dad, or when I was in vacation, and my dad has he worked for the government, and then he was building aqueducts for the rural places around the city. So every time he has a chance, he took me with him. So I was seeing everything that he was doing. Like actually I was also carrying pipes, even though I didn't need to. And then I see everything that is, all the whole logistic and process to take water from a source, a natural source, and provide waters to maybe 20 houses in this rural place, right? So that also got in my mind, and at the beginning I was dreaming to be an environmental engineer. Ended up to be a mechanical engineer because the journey changed a little bit, but very instrumental, and to be transparent with you, it was not an easy journey. I was people said that I was smart because I finished my high school really young. I just turned 16. I was 15 in March, turned 16 in March, and graduated 2 months later in June. And right away, I was admitted to the university. There was a public university where you had to pass a test and everything. So I was making my counts, right? I'm like, okay, 5 years, my engineer degree. At 21-year-old, I'm gonna be an engineer, and then I'm gonna start, life and journey is a little bit different. When I was 16, 17 years old, I met the woman of my life in Cali, and then I decided, and that's very important right there, because some people don't transform their fears into opportunities. And I saw this as an opportunity when she told me, "Hey, mom, my mom is telling me that we're going back home after 2-year relationship." My wife, she provided me, options. She said, "Would you stay and I wish you the best, or you try to go, and then in order for you to work in the United States, you need to have your papers. So we get married, and then if things work out, then we will build our life together. If things doesn't work out, then you go left, I go right, no hard feelings." And I'm like, man, it's a good opportunity, but at the same time, I'm leaving everything behind. I'm leaving my dad, my mom, my brother, my cousins, my friends, whatever you name it, right? And I realized that at that time, the Colombia was too small for me. In order to try to dismiss the country, in my mind, it was, I want to explore the world. And based on the opportunity that my father provided to me when I was 12 years old, I went to the United States for vacation, and I really liked the opportunities that you have over there, because in Colombia, and this is something that I can tell openly, in Colombia, still sometimes follow people, depends on your last name, that's the way that you get treated. In United States, they don't care about who you are. They care is if you have cash in the pocket to pay the check, you can be, and that happens to me, and I can tell the story later, you can be a gardener, that as I was. And I remember when I landed in the United States with $65 in my pocket, with my first job, it was cutting grass as a gardener. My first paycheck, $250. I used to get paid $50 a day. I told the wife, man, I always been dreaming with this Gloria Stefan restaurant in South Beach. And then, okay, no, let's go, sure. And I park. We were driving her mother car. We parked. We went inside the restaurant, and from second number zero all the way to the end, I was treating like I was Bill Gates, and I really fell in love with that, because they did not treat me because this guy cut grass for living. Let's just give him the table over there and then kind of like a sloppy service. No, I was treated as I was a VIP person, and the only reason is because if you are there, it's because you have money to pay the check, right? So I really like that environment. I don't concentrate myself too much on the finance, but it was the change on the culture behavior, right? Where you don't need to come from a well-known last name to get respect.
Yeah, correct.
You get respect for who you are. So when coming back to the story, so when the wife provided me that opportunity and connecting the dots from my experiences that I had before, I took it. I took it and I said, I'm going to start from zero. I was already in third year of environmental engineer, right? And I said, I'm going to start from zero. My father, it was one of I would say at that moment, it was like, hey, finish your degree first, then you're going to go there. Very savvy words. I think he saw the future. You're gonna go there and you're gonna do all these immigrant work. You're gonna cut grass, you're gonna clean violence, you're gonna be a driver. Well, all those jobs I did because you don't have a degree. Go with your degree, and I say, hey, Dad, don't worry about it. I'm very confident on myself of what I can do, and if I can start from zero, I will start from zero, and then I will make it happen. Then at the end of the day, he understood, and then he gave me his blessing, and then I moved to United States. So, but it was a tough moment in that decision making, right? But I transferred those fears to an opportunities, start from zero, and again, my dad, very very key to put that goal in my mind, that make sure that you get a degree. That's a skill that you're always gonna take in your head. Nobody's gonna take that away from you. And we experienced that in COVID, right? COVID, a lot of businesses closed and all that. I was working from my laptop from home, no problem at all, earning my salary. So very savvy, very important. My father was key. The whole surrounding with the family. I was not too much attached to the extended family, so maybe that was an easy going for me. Friends, I was more attached to friends because I started living by myself. My dad and mom separated when I was 7 years old. It was a little bit of a disturbance on the family environment or stability. So I ended up living with my grandma. Then I decided to live by myself when I was 15 years old. Changed more my life because now you don't have nobody to wash your clothes, and trust me, wash a jean compared to drop it in the washing machine to actually manually wash it is a big difference, right?
Yeah.
It's a big difference. But all those things just build the courage that I have right now. And like I said before, if I had to do it again, I would do it again, no problem at all. But my father, very essential.
How did you continue your university once you stopped in third year?
Yeah, I stopped in third year, and that's the good point. Yeah, funny part about that, and some people can maybe make fun of me, but for me, it's just always educate the brain to get to the finish line. As we were talking before, I moved to United States. I brought my credits with me, but in order for me to sit down with an American student, I need to speak English, right? So the first thing that I did is I looked for the right time, the right moment, the right place. There was 5 minutes away from the apartment that we used to live in Miami. There was a middle school called Ruben Dario, and they used to offer back then free English classes from 7 and 9 to 9 p.m. So this is what you go the above and beyond, right? So if you gotta go to a goal, you gotta, you gotta do the above and beyond. So I did not just stop working my gardener job from 8 to 5 and then just chill, like getting $250 a week. No, I took a shower, then I went and started learning English little by little. Then I brought my credits. Then I started investigating to enroll myself in the Broward Community College. Then they asked me for my credits. Then they accept me after I pass a few English tests. They enroll me in these basic classes with English 101 where they teach you how to write essays, speaking classes, reading classes. So it took like 2 more years for me to actually start seeing or actually start taking classes that will account for my degree. And based on the fact that I was already, and then my first daughter came 2 years after we got married. We got married in April 24, 1998. I arrived in the United States February 15, 1998. My daughter was born in January 6, 2000. So I had to work full time to provide food to the family, right? So I did not have that luxury to be a full time student, right? So then after I went through all this journey, now I can take physics, calculus, and all that. Then I had to take these classes maybe one every quarter or two every quarter. I cannot load myself with 4 classes because first of all I didn't have the money to pay for it, right? And second, I did not have the time because I had to work full time. So the journey went by. It took me 18 years since when I enrolled myself in university in Colombia, that it was June 15, 1994. I graduated May 12, 2012.
Whoa.
With a mechanical engineer bachelor's degree. So it took me 18 years to finish one degree where some people can do maybe 3 engineers degree. But that's the key that comes, right? Perseverance, discipline, hard work, because now you had to do 2 things. You had to work and you had to go to school at night, right? And always deliver your work with excellence. That's something that a lot of people, I see a struggle. They submit the deliverables with the minimal requirements that they have to, provide. Always go above and beyond. Always submit your deliverables with excellence because that's gonna give you opportunities in the future. When people start seeing, okay, we need one player to do this, to do that, then your name always gonna be in their heads because you deliver yourself, you work with excellence. So that was the key. Discipline and perseverance, something that I always have in my mind. And maybe because when I was a kid, I used to play baseball. I used to represent the state. So I used to go to school and then go to training sections, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, play games, Saturday, Sunday. So the sports also maybe put that discipline in myself, that you got to do what you got to do in order to achieve your goals. But discipline is very important. Perseverance is there. And those are the 2 keys that helped me to earn my degree, my engineering degree. It took me 18 years, man.
That's impressive. That's a long time, but still you enjoyed probably the journey the entire way. You mentioned from at 7 years old, I think you went through a lot of traumatic experience. You did explain how you took that as a positive thing, where you implanted a seed that I have to see a brighter tomorrow. But did this really take a toll on you as you were trying to progress in your life at this age of where you're watching someone die in the streets, where you're watching your family split? Well, how did you overcome these stressful situations at 7 years old? That's not easy. Like you told, some of your friends went to the direction less favorable. How did you avoid this? Is it because of the family? Was it yourself or the environment you surround yourself with? What do you exactly do to get?
I think it was a combination of both family, but specific my father, and that internal force. I don't know if maybe I was born with that. Instead of looking at the negative side of things, I always transfer that to the positive side of things. So for me, when my family, it was not stable. I remember my brother went to the United States, and my brother is 14 years older than me, right? So I did not have this close brother to bend, to cry, right? So that put me in a position as a kid where I was talking to myself too much, right? And then I was talking to myself too much. I built the character to be more independent. So that was key for me. And now, even though I'm living with my grandma, I'm not my grandma's son, right? So I had to do some stuff for myself in order to keep going. I remember, man, it just literally, and people said, what? I remember taking the bus to go to my baseball training session when I was 10 years old by myself. And said, oh man, you were 10 years old riding a bus by yourself? Well, I don't have no choice. I had no choice. It's either I give up or I continue what I want to do, right? So when you get forced to that, and because life put you in that journey, as a human, you have two choices. Or you put everything that you have on you and be confident that you can make it and make it happen, or you just give up, right? And I took the first one. I said, I'm gonna continue. I understand what's going on between my parents, and I don't make no judgment of what's going on, and instead of making judgment or maybe trying to see all the negativity around, I just build character that helped me to build character to be more independent. And sometimes and I see it now when I'm in the 40s. I'm 46 right now. You always have a partner next to you, right? And sometimes those flashbacks of independence comes back when you want to do something, and then you have to remember that you have a partner that has been with you for almost 30 years, that you have to count for that decision too, right? But that character, to build character, and the violence that I saw in my country, it's just helped me to appreciate life. So for me, it was, people take life for granted sometimes. I wake up every day, and the first thing that I'm, and you name it, whatever you believe, right now it's a lot of, I respect everyone, but whatever you believe, the power of source, thank you. Thank you for providing me another day that I can see the sun, that I can walk, because people even, and with COVID, I will go a little bit on that one. I saw a lot of behaviors that are like, man, you guys take everything for granted. I have some back for lifetime back injury, and it was a time in my life where at least twice a year, when I come out of my bed, when I get that pinch on my disc 5 and 4, I cannot walk straight, right? I literally had to little by little start putting myself straight, because the pain is really hard. And then things like that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that you can just get out of bed and then walk.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So people don't appreciate that. So all those experiences when I was in Colombia, it gave me two things. It built a character to be more independent, and then just helped me to appreciate life. So people say, man, but you're always so positive. And I'm like, dude, we are alive.
I choose to live it like this.
Yeah, and you are alive. You know what I mean? Like, you should be happy that you are alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go for struggles, we go for many roads, many journeys, but just the main key is that you are here, you are alive, you can walk, you can see, you can talk. There are people out there that never in their life have seen the sun, because when they were born blind. So I always put myself in those shoes, and then you see, like, man, compared with others, my problems are nothing.
Correct.
My problems are nothing.
What we all do in this journey.
That's you've shared so much that we've actually gone through so many series of events, like even a lot of things, even though we've spoken before, I've not also heard many of this. And like I was telling you, that the most inspiring thing that I always take away from you is your connection with family, like how you always keep everything close. Even when we were discussing earlier, how you said that the reason why you moved from India to Dubai and all of that. So when you started off your family in US, how did it go about with you being able to move and upgrade yourself from one job to the other? Like for yourself right now, you work at Boeing. So how did you take yourself from a position where a person who can't speak English comes into a country which is predominantly English speaking, but you've done everything, you've done the necessary steps, you've learned the language, but how did you take the next step to get into corporate or like yourself into engineering? How did you find that this is my roadmap for myself?
So, a good question, man. I go back a little bit on the family and then we go on the corporate, the professional side. You touched one point when you said about the instability that happened in your family when you were a little kid, right? So when you grow and you mature, you know, you you went through that journey, so it has to be some lesson learned, right? And I knew that lesson learned too because compare other kids that maybe they were in a stable families and all that compared to myself maybe when I was a teenager maybe I made some wrong decisions when if I have my dad and my mom in place maybe I would have a little bit of different guidance, right? So that is key and my wife and I we always very key to make sure that whatever we do, we create a stable family. Wherever we go, we all go together and set that environment with stability so our kids can grow in that concrete base of stability and then break the cycles. My wife also coming from a parents, divorced parents, I coming from a divorced parents, so we want to make sure that we cut that cycle and provide that stability for our kids where our kids the normal is to be stable. The normal is not just to give up with the first challenge and then okay we get divorced, you go right, we go left. So that's part of I think on the key. Moving to United States and I was saying this before. I always this Boeing Incorporated just came to my journey as I said, I think the right time, the right moment, the right place. Because my ambition it was to be an environmental civil engineer. So I was dreaming myself building bridges, highways, you know, completely different scope of work that I am right now. And I was going to university for that. When I moved to the University of Central Florida in Orlando, first semester I was enrolled in civil and environmental engineering, right? Then I joined, and then this kid told me, hey, there is an association in the university called SHEP, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. They do a conference every year where they try to hire talent Latino or people that speak Spanish. They are here in America to all these big corporates, you know. You should go. I said like, well, man, I'm literally in my third year. I think it was junior, what we people call it university junior, right? Or freshman, you know, like because I just finished the first 2 years because remember one class at the time, one class at the time. So I just finished like literally the whole 2 years base classes for engineering, and then. And I said, you know what? Why not? Because that's another answer when somebody asks you. Because I always believe that the worst action that you can do is the one that you don't do. That is the worst one. Okay? So I said, okay, no, let's go for it. He helped me to build a resume. And my resume was, you know, swimming pool company, building supplies for swim, gardener, chauffeur, janitor, because I cleaned bathrooms for I think a year and a half. You know, that was my resume. And then with that resume I went but with zero expectations because I was, you know, like I was with the idea and this is wrong. That's why people should not preload themselves, you know, oh I will not get there because in order to get there this needs to happen. Just give it a try and see how it goes. Prepare yourself, work hard for it, but you need to give it a try. I go to this conference. I remember Philadelphia 2007 Czech conference. I have my resume with me. I think I had to use a credit card that I haven't loaded. Because back in those days, you don't have like a $20,000 credit card, right? Like a $500 credit card, bought a suit to go and present myself, right? And then I'm walking around first day in the conference, and these companies, these big corporate companies, has this called hospitality suites, where they offer food and drinks, no alcoholic drinks, just soft drinks to students, and they start doing pre-screening of their resumes. And then if they like somebody, then they say, "Hey, we would like to do an official interview with you. Go apply for this rec, we're hiring this many people, blah, blah, blah." I'm walking early. The hospitality suite start like at 7. I was like 6:45, and I just went curious to see where was the place. So I'm looking and looking and looking and looking, and then I see Boeing. And then I see Boeing. And I was literally, because my mindset is on the construction side, right? And then the guy next to me, Boeing, dude, is one of the biggest manufacturers of aircraft in the world. Oh, the airplane, Boeing, okay, Boeing. Oh, okay, the 777, I remember 737s, 757s, okay, Boeing. And then out of nowhere, I remember this person from the Boeing company is actually a good friend of mine, Luis, and then it's coming from the Dominican Republic. And then he said like, "Hey, you, come." And I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, "Me? Yeah, there's nobody else there. Come." Do you know when I worked for Boeing? It was like maybe 10 minutes before they opened the doors. And then I said, "Yeah, but I'm only junior year. Have you take this class? Yes. Have you take this one? Yes. Have you take that one? No." Okay, then we start talking. And I don't know what I didn't realize that back then, when in that conversation, actually, by mother nature, I was just selling myself. Oh, I have these dreams, I have this, and that's why I tell people, when you get the chance, tell the universe your dreams, man. Tell the universe your dreams. Don't keep it to yourself. Somebody's gonna listen to that, and then you never know. Well, that day, that person listens and like, "Man, who are you?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm just an immigrant. I arrived to the United States with $65 in my pocket. I've been doing all this craziness, but my big picture is to become an engineer and work for a really good company that I can provide a good life to my wife and my kids." And then he called a hiring manager from inside and said, "Hey, this guy," because I already complete, and in America, when you complete your 2-year basic, they give you like this degree they call the AA degree, right? Associate in arts, not the bachelor's in science, right? Say, "Hey, this guy has an associate in arts, but he doesn't have his bachelor's in engineering, but I think he can make it, man."
Yeah.
And then now this hiring manager take me inside. And now he called 2 hiring managers, and this guy start bombing just behavior questions, right? What do you do in this situation? And then I have nothing to lose. Actually, I have too much to gain.
Yeah.
So I went in, then I just start delivering, delivering like nothing to lose. And they said, "You know what? We need help to get the 787 out of the production and then start flight tests. We have a job that you meet the educational requirements where we have manufacturing engineers. They are in charge to do all the process improvement in the factory, but we have under them, or not under them, working next to them, we have the title it was manufacturing planners, where the engineer provide the requirements to the planner, and then the planner is in charge to write based on the design engineer in combination with the manufacturing engineer, the design of develop the installation plans for everything. And in this case, we're looking for manufacturing planners to do the installation plans for the interiors of the 787. Would you be interested to do that? And I'm like, man, I was like, that was like, for me, it was like 777 jackpot, hit the lottery. I'm like, what? Sure. And that's number 2 right there, Never feel afraid to get out of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
What was my comfort zone? A student, doing my customer service in the swimming pool business.
Yeah.
I don't have my engineer degree, so I don't feel confident that I can do a job as no.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid, and I'm on it. 100%. Okay, go apply to this rec. Now we are not saying that you're getting the job, but we would like to do now a real structured interview, formal interview with the Boeing company, Friday 1 p.m. Come. The same suit that I have that day, I went back the room and I took it so I don't get it dirty,
Yeah.
And then I asked for a friend for the tie,
Yeah.
so got there. And then in that interview, I went with the mindset that I had nothing to lose, and that was the change maker right there. Completely changed my life. After I finished my interview, the hiring manager, Kirk Hickman, that I would like to provide full credit for the opportunity that he gave me almost 17 years ago. And then 5 minutes later, he come out. This is the letter of intent of hiring.
Mhm.
You're going to Washington. And I'm like, oh man, Washington D.C. I said, no, not Washington D.C.
Georgia.
Washington State.
Oh.
You're going to Seattle.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that is literally, as I go out in Florida, mark a diagonal all the way crossing the country is on the other side, literally the north part that you can get on the other side of the West Coast. And I'm like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
And I remember I went back to work, and you always see these people, they are full of fears. I remember one of my coworkers told me like, oh, why'd you do that? Seattle is one of the cities with the higher suicide. It always rains. It's always, and it went through here and it just went through there. I did not engage. I did not. That's his negativity. I let it go. I execute my action. Actually, my manager back then, Jose Hernandez, he told me, man, I'm very proud of you. I know that you were going for university. I know that you are a hard worker. And I provide credit to him too in this interview. He gave me full support and then said, man, go, man, you gotta go. And then I don't know where, then I find out that Boeing, with these relocation packages, they packed my house, packed my car, took my family, put me in a hotel for 2 weeks with food, with money, with gas, rent a car while everything was getting there. A lot of benefits, and that's why I'm very grateful with the Boeing company. I'm always gonna be grateful with the Boeing company because the Boeing company changed my life. So to answer now the second question on the corporate side, I was in the journey to try to be a good engineer to support my family, and life provide those opportunities to me to change, and then took me straight to the corporate world of Boeing. And from there, at that point, still I'm not engineered yet.
Yeah.
Right? So then I learned Boeing company has a really good program called a Learning Together program where they pay for your education. And when I talked to my ambitions with my manager, he helped me to enroll in that Learning Together program. And now going inside Boeing, I remember, and I give credit to this guy too, Steve Simmons, that was my team lead. First day I show the factory or the building that I was supposed to work. It said like, drop your bag, drop everything. I'm gonna take you straight to the shop floor. You need to see this. And then he took me to the 787 line when we used to build that the Dreamliner in Everett. And since the door opened and I went to that production line, my life changed completely. The goosebumps is in my it's just hearing the drilling, seeing all these pieces coming around the world to get together this beautiful airplane. That changed completely my life. It changed so much that it made me realize that like, man, and when I start asking like, what does civil engineer do in Boeing? Oh, stress analysis, structured loads, all these things, right? But they're always sitting in the desk, right? Yeah. I said, no, I don't want that job. I want the job that put me next to the airplane. And that's why I switched majors, kind of like because a mechanical engineer degree and civil engineer degree on the last 2 years, maybe you have thermodynamics, there is statistics, but there are some other classes, behavioral materials that you don't see in the other curriculum, right?
Of course.
And again, I did not get the fear to start, or not start from zero, but instead of maybe getting my degree in 1 year, now I'm putting 3 or 4 more years ahead of me. But at that moment, I believed that it was the right decision.
Right.
That would make me happy. And then I switched, and that's why I joined Boeing January 11, 2008, and I graduated as a mechanical engineer May 12, 2012, 4 years later.
Yeah.
Craziness too, working overtime, working crazy hours, Saturdays and Sundays, but doing the homework, go to university, getting the job done, go the above and beyond.
Yeah.
The discipline to
Yeah.
tell your brain to get to the finish line, right?
Yeah.
That was very key. After that, I knew that in order for me to compete with all the other engineers that were there, I should not stop there. So I enrolled myself in 2015 for a master's in engineer management and aviation management with the Embry-Riddle. It was like a 2 year and a half degree. And then I said, I don't have 2 years. I put my timeline of, I don't have 2 years and a half. I put my timeline of 2, and I finished 2 years later. And now that I'm doing again the switch in my journey where I left my engineer management. I was a first line manager for aircraft level integration for the 767 to see what is our tankers, 767 tankers that we built back home in Everett. I changed that career to move to the customer support. I really like to people. Family influence that too, to be close to my daughter, my future grandkids. So I moved from being management to go to individual contributor with a really nice assignment in India, where I wanna recognize Mr. Tana Lucy for that opportunity. And then I decided, well, I need to get education on this too. And I just finished, I started August last year. And then in last May, I graduated with a airline management certificate from Embry-Riddle University too. So those are the pieces of education too. Did that answer your question?
Yes, you did. I love that you're very detailed with all the information that you give, the way you express your journey, the way you express situations, because it really gives perspective on how it's not just about answering the question of what happened, it's more about when things were happening, what were you going through?
Correct.
Because that's what I want. Me and Father have always emphasized this on people. Like, it's not about reaching the end destination. It's how do you get through situations when you're at that roadblock. And these are so many life experiences that we learn from one another. Like with your experience of the language barrier. Personally, for myself, I found it very difficult to take up any second language. I've learned French and Arabic growing up in school here, but I could never force myself to take it. And this is some feedback that my family's always given me, which is I'm not disciplined enough to actually go out and put myself out of a comfort zone to learn a different language. Unlike Father, like he's picked up Arabic. So in these situations, I've understood like, okay, this is my drawback, but then how do other people get through this? So knowing that from you not knowing English to coming to America, learning English, and then your entire life now revolves around it.
Correct.
So it's
correct.
The most important thing is you never had the opportunity or the reason to learn the language. I had to because I was doing business in Saudi. I was supposed to learn the language of Arabic so I can blend in that culture. Similarly for you. So I don't think it's a drawback. When it's required, I know for a fact he can learn it because right now he doesn't find any reason, like how we speak about learning Chinese, Russian, whatever language we need to do in the future to be doing business internationally. And you know what's interesting? The whole time you were speaking, there was so much stuff running in my mind. You know you're a truly genuine guy when you paid all your roses to the people that helped you in this journey. You mentioned every person. your collection of previous memories timeline is amazing. I don't know how you do it. You mention every date from the time of 7 years old, and it's really wonderful that the way you've collected. Also, when you've switched jobs, I don't think like you've gone back or like every place from the gardener, the guy who was driving, chauffeuring around. I believe that what you were doing every place was you were carrying your value and providing that value to whichever establishment you enter and empower them and grow them while growing yourself in the process. So that was beautiful. Like even for me to look into this perspective, how you're not actually going backwards. You're always taking your value and implanting it somewhere else and uplifting that place. I have to ask you, when you were going, I feel like you came into, we'll just fix this really quick.
Yep.
Yeah, no worries. So
That's fine.
I feel like there was a, like, did you lose a bit of your childhood because it feels like you had to become an adult or be there for yourself and the people around you sooner than later? So did you feel like you ever lost time in your childhood and like the time to spend like with the love with your wife or like have a good time with her? Did you lose time in this? Do you like feel like you became an adult too soon, or is it a different?
No, I don't think so. And I think I when I go back to my childhood days, I was happy, even
Nice.
though
Nice.
it was a lot of craziness around me. I never felt myself in a situation with maybe depression or sad.
Mhm.
Maybe because I was engaged, even maybe baseball helped me to navigate these tough moments because wow. My dad and my mom they were getting divorced. I was traveling with the state team to play nationals here, nationals there. So I was doing something, I was always surrounded by people. Even though I told myself, like it's crazy because even though sometimes you always surrounded by people, there are some because we are human beings. There are some times where you feel alone, right? You can be surrounded by 100 people, and sometimes you just feel alone. But and on my side, it was just again, I don't know if I got this gift from the power of source that I believe they enjoyed every moment, enjoyed the journey. So I was not putting my mind and everything negative that it was going on in my life. I concentrate all my time and efforts to enjoy everything positive that it was in my side. And then I remember, it sounds maybe a little bit silly, but for me to start living by myself too young, give me the chance that I did not have to ask for permission to do anything. So I was, and I always been a little bit of chubby, kind of like the big guy. So I was going to the clubs at 15, 16 and partying with this 18, 19, 20 years old. So I did, I enjoyed those moments, right? And I remember seeing my friends, oh, we're gonna go out to this party. Oh no, my father said that I'm grounded. I did not have that problem.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? I did not have that problem. I'm making my own decision. I'm living by myself. This is nothing. Even though when I was living by myself, I have the financial support of my dad. We used to have a house. My dad told me we're gonna rent the house, and then the money that is coming out of that rent, then you're gonna use it for your transportation, university, your lunch, and all that. And then even though I was living with my grandma, I took big portion of that to pay like a small studio where I was cooking myself. It literally like a small studio, right? And I made those sacrifices in order to enjoy life for independence. So that's why I don't feel that I lost or no, actually opposite. I live my journey and happy. There were some situations that I don't want to get in details, but that I saw my life endangered, and just because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, But it helped you. It helped you create skills, street skills that now you know what to do if you see similar situations coming, and then you know that it's time for you to get out, to move. You know,
situational awareness.
Situational awareness.
Yeah.
And it's better in Colombia. We said it's better to say Javier run here than Javier die here, right?
Mhm.
So it's all those things that you start building, those skills that other people don't have because they didn't go through those
Journey.
journey.
Yeah.
And I would like to go back a little bit on the language because I would like to say something or share something. Yeah, I don't consider that as a drawback either. It's just the people sometimes are not forced to. And when I moved to America, I knew that in order for me to go from point A to point B, I need to speak English, right? And even though now I'm pretty sure, you know, I speak with a really thick accent, but you need to speak English. And then I remember my first international assignment. That was January 2013. January 5th, 2013. We moved to Italy, and now I'm working with the Italians, helping to build the first 787-9, helping the Italians to get back in production so we can feed the production line back home. And one of the skills that helped me to be successful in that is that I force myself. Italian and Spanish are very similar, so maybe some people they are only English speakers. They can say, "Oh, but you have the advantage," and they are correct. I have the advantage, but I force myself to learn the basic Italian to get into their conversations, and that helped me to succeed because at that point. I would say the measurement of success for the Boeing team that it was there, it was to know the Italian plan for the production so we can see how we can help improve and all these things. Nobody was getting that information. I realized in the first 3 or 4 weeks when I was there, the different cultures, they're more similar to the Colombian culture, you know, the South American culture where the important conversations, those important conversations don't happen when you are at the job place. It happens when you are drinking coffee, when you're doing different things, right?
Yeah.
So I start joining the coffee machine in their breaks. I start picking up, and then little by little, I start building my Italian where, you know, hey, coffee guys. We used to have this kid that you low money, put it in the machine. Coffee, and oh, grazie mille. Yeah, then we go and then like, hey, what is the plan? And then they say, oh, Javier, we're gonna cook this barrel, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And I start getting information that not even the big leaders have. And that helped me to feed my leaders with the information that I was getting at the shop floor. And my assignment, it was for 1 year, and then I got extended to 18 months, 6 more months to help and continue helping. So I think sometimes it's also life they actually force you,
Correct.
you know, it's huge.
Having you over here in this room is just crazy because someone of this caliber and the information that you possess about planes, about Boeings, is just amazing. It's like overwhelming me. I'm like, wow. Because what you're doing over there, you're making it seem so simple, but I understand what is actually going on inside the information. Because there was a major miscommunication. If you're not present there, but best believe Boeing wouldn't be where it is.
Well, I would not take the whole credit for
Yeah,
that.
100%, but it is a major part that you play.
Yeah, we were successful because we got to get information that we need. And it was nothing that the Italians it was doing the wrong thing or the Boeing was doing the wrong thing. It's just I've seen that in the industry all over the place, man. One of the biggest challenges that we have in corporate is called communication. Communication is key. You know, everyone knows the plan, everyone is executing the plan, but sometimes there are not that integration where other teams maybe went to the same journey before and they have some lesson learned that they can share, so these guys can now go and experience the same things that these guys already overcome, right? So it's all about communication, and we help
Bridge the gap.
We bridged the gap, and it was no one main solo job. It was I have a team there. We work really hard, and we helped these guys. I remember when we went to Italy, we were building kind of like almost 5-6 barrels per month. The Italians, they produced the section 46 and 44 of the 787 program. When we left Italy, the production rate was 11 barrels per month. So,
Major.
the whole Boeing team got together, provide ideas and opportunities and how to do things faster. And the composite world, when you are cooking something out of composite, you cannot put in more heat and then it will cook faster. So you can know it's all about process improvement, because the composite material needs to go through all the specifications in order to get to get to the point that needs to be buy off by the quality organization, right? So that is no short corners, nothing like that. It was just working together, implementing some lean practices in the factory. They can help move things faster, so you're not waiting to move one barrel 3 shifts because it's another barrel in the middle. So all these things the all one team can do together, and I always provide that. Even though as an individual contributor, you always put your contribution, you always have to speak in a we, and not, right? Because it's the people that are working with you, they will know what what are you putting in the table. I see a lot of people talking in the first person, when I always said you only need to do that when you're doing a job interview. When you're doing a job interview, you need to tell the hiring manager what was your contribution in that. But at the end of the day, it's always teamwork effort.
100%. 100%. That's why we always talk about collective community.
Yeah.
You yesterday told me that when you met that person.
Yeah, there's this. Yesterday when I went and met an old friend, like he was a gym trainer, and it really like changed my perspective of how I start to view people. Like, because he was someone that used to just walk and come to the gym, and I was the only one who joined over there in my family and amongst my friends, and all the trainers used to ignore me because I was like a skinny kid just there trying to do some push-ups. And then this guy just came to me and said, Anush, just do these things differently. Within 6 weeks, he helped me like gain 11 kilos in muscle, and like I always was a skinny kid. So because of him, it really transitioned my life. And then yesterday when we caught up, it just felt like as if he was the same person, but just with so much more positive energy. And then there's so many things that he introduced me to with a lot of people, communication and everything. And the one thing that I realized amongst all the people I met yesterday were communication is key. Try to find a way where you can easily talk to somebody and convey your message, rather than like complicating the entire subject over and over again. And that normally happens when a company is like too spread out, so you kind of report into multiple people. So I don't know how that plays out with different, especially with Boeing. Like it's one of the biggest. It is Boeing and Airbus are the biggest manufacturers of commercial flights. So how does that play out for you in terms of you moving from different countries under new management? Are you under new management, or how do you fit in with these different scenes? Because like you said, you went from US, you went to Italy. I've never got the experience or exposure to travel to a different country and start a new life, but to be able to start a new life, manage family, and also still work under a new team, if someone's listening to us right now, what's the one advice that you would give them on this?
Yeah, and to provide the whole picture, it was the US to Italy, came back to the US, then went to India for 4 years, 2015 to 19, then came back to the US, then went back to India for 11 months, almost now here in Dubai. And then something that I would say is that different people bring and offer different things to you with your journey in life, right? Some might be negative, because we all humans, some might be positive. So in my whole journey, everything that I have tried to keep with me is the positive aspects that the person in specific, that it was my management team in the US and in Italy and India, go back to the US, India, and now here, try to capture all the positive things that they can help me to grow in my life. And then I will not say ignore, but dismiss, maybe the negative aspects, because we all human beings, we all not perfect. And then in my whole entire career, I always create that differentiation between the leader and the manager. Okay? And I have both. I have the leaders where the purpose is to help you grow. They already know the goals, there is no insecurities, there is nothing in there, so they're gonna provide all the tools that you need in order for you to grow.
Okay.
And then you got the manager. The manager, the person that is there to get the job done. In some cases, maybe they have personal agendas. And then they're just gonna get to the point that they wanna get, and they're gonna make sure that you provide and deliver what you need to deliver in order for them to be successful. But at the end of the day, if you grow, no grow, that is you. And that helped me big time in my career, especially when I switched in 2019. Actually, I remember July 19, 2019. It was my first day when I went back home. And then August 16, I was 30. That was my first day as a manager and engineer. And what I did is I collect all these different behaviors in my brain in order to be a good leader, not a good manager. Okay? I already have my goals. I already have my big picture. I'm connected with my big picture. I'm not a person that feels insecure to help others, and I hope they even grow bigger than me, because I know that in the future when I'm gonna need somebody that I extend the hand, that person is gonna remember me and say, you help me to grow, I'm gonna help you to grow too. Help me help your situation. That's what I believe, right? So I capture all these different behaviors, good and bad, in order to structure myself to be a leader, not a manager. And a leader also help to grow the people, but also get the job done. But you get the job done when you are transparent with your people, then you build that ownership of your people. They will, and when the ownership, you get engagement. The people will be engaged and they will deliver results. And that helped me to navigate. I remember a tough moment in my management career on COVID-19, where the whole industry shake. All industries, right? And I had to lay off 7 people of my team. 7. To tell them, delivering the news in 3 months. This is the pin slip, what they call the pin slip of the layoff notice. You will not have a job. Now, when I delivered those news, I said, but I know there are some other departments on the military side that maybe they need help. Let's see if I can use my connections and then try my best to get your job there. And out of the 7, I believe, if my number doesn't go, we saved a lot. Working together, 3 people got a different jobs. One has to move out of state and work in a Boeing military site in New Orleans. But I'm pretty sure that the person now knows and will remember me for good things, because that's the other thing that I always, keep in my life. I always want to put, people smiles in their faces, so when they remember my name, they remember with a positive energy. I don't need no bad energy up there, I want positive energy. So all these different behaviors, all these different management styles that I was exposed in, all this, I work in 3 continents, right? America, Europe, and Asia, right? Now I'm in the Middle East. And all these different management styles, and I've been fortunate that I would say, out of my whole career, maybe 80% I ended up with leaders, and 20% I've been facing managers. But I don't, now it's clear what is the behavior. So you have to take control of your own career. And then you do, that's why it's very important. And this is something that I tell my kids, that is called the 1 million philosophy, 1 million friends philosophy. And it was a son, Roberto Carlos, as a Brazilian
Football?
singer.
Okay.
Yeah, not the football. Roberto Carlos, I think it says, Yo quiero tener 1 millón de amigos. I want to have 1 million friends. And then, y así más fuerte poder cantar and then sing stronger, right? I want to have 1 million friends so I can sing stronger. I adapt that to myself. I said, I want to have 1 million friends, and I tell the people that sometimes I first in my journey said, your goal in life, one of the goals in life is, apply the 1 million friends philosophy. Say, okay, can you, elaborate on that one? Say, well, imagine this. Imagine that since day number 1, you create a distribution list in your email called DL, and then you start adding names on it until you reach 1 million friends. And let's see that tomorrow, you are going to solve tough moments, right? Tough moments. And then you put, an email, DL 1 million friends. You don't have to type those, DL 1 million friends. Hell needed. Hello, dear friends. I'm going to solve struggles right now. Do you mind? Let's put it in dirhams. Do you mind to deposit 3.65 dirhams to my account? These are the details. Do you will say no to give your friend 3.65 dirhams? That is equivalent to $1, right? If everyone is online, or let's see in the next 24 hours your friends react to that, from a struggle, you will have an account $1 million. Now, figure of speech, I'm not chasing the money.
Yep.
1 million doors, 1 million opportunities, 1 million connections. So your networking skills in your network is very important. That's what I tell my friends, when you go, let's see that we have a Boeing meeting, and I have a really good friend, Anil Kumar Gopalan. He used to work with me in India. Right now he's working here in Dubai. Very happy to rejoin the office again. I used to tell him, he got hired in Boeing, I think 2015, and the behaviors that we have as a new kid in the block.
Yeah.
We go to a meeting. Then this is the main table with all the senior managers and directors sit, and then you see in the back seat all the people that are a little bit, and the new kid. And I said, no, you're gonna try your best to sit next to the executive, because even though he will not know your name, when you talk and then you start, then look at you, and then 3 or 4, crossing each other looks, eyes. Then he's gonna start knowing who you are, and then he read your badge, and then you see send an email, send a good word. Oh, that's the kid that was sitting next to me. So you start exposing yourself. Don't hide.
Yes.
You do your best to try to get you up there. You go to a room, and I do that a lot, and people even in America get a little bit, people get in the room in a big meeting and all that. As soon as I close the door, good morning all, how are you today? Hey, happy Monday. And then everyone, who the heck is that guy? Well, now they know who entered the door.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? And then I try to do my best to say, hey, nice to meet you, my name is Javier Montoya. Oh, no, nice to meet you, my name is Javier Montoya. Nice to meet you, my name is... Because I'm trying to build that 1 million friend DL, right?
Yeah.
I'm not doing it physically, but I know for a fact now we have very, very good, we have tools that I did not have before, LinkedIn and all these things that you connect with people, right? And then I put a post, I'm changing jobs, and then I see like 500 plus replies, hey, good job, hey, wish you the best, hey, no. So I'm not reaching maybe 1,000 compared to 1 million, but there are some people out there that actually are happy and have that positive energy to me that, that I've been building that in my whole journey. So that's it.
It's very interesting.
That's an amazing theory that you just mentioned.
Because we also do it similarly for our community too. So same concept, the million philosophy. We told everyone, you can join this community if you like. Me and Anush are gonna go in this journey regardless. Whoever joins in, and obviously people joined in. When these guys are motivated, when we all do stuff together, I'm talking like just for the sake of people to understand, in because many people, youngsters, are involved with financial mindset, right? If we get another millionaire, that's $1 million network for us. More millionaires. So our community, our journey is to make it $1 billion community. Doesn't mean like, oh, we'll be generating billions. Each person who has a worth of million, net worth of million, or how much ever it is, eventually it adds up to $1 billion, and that's enough. That's enough. That's amazing. That's what the whole journey is about. Doing it together. And when we all uplift each other together, that's a collective source of money. We don't want to do it alone. There's no fun in just being a billionaire on the top and live there alone. When you do it together, the journey, the happiness, the positivity you guys all carry together, it radiates. And then you drive in more people. So this philosophy which you told, we've been talking about it, but there's no one to like reassure us. It's only us both reassuring each other.
Now hearing it from a third person really makes us feel like it went off, but that's okay.
Yeah.
What I was saying is hearing that philosophy from a third person really gives affirmation to us, because like, to be honest, I don't know if even if the cameras are recording or not. I don't know if Father, don't put this in the thing.
Yeah, okay.
So like when we both started the podcast, like we've not got a lot of and this is the one thing that really made me question a lot of things, where I didn't get a lot of positive feedback from the people who are near and dear and close to me. Like both of us, we've never received any positive feedback from anyone who knew us. But people who didn't know us, people who've heard of our names long time ago, knew us in school, lost connection, and then they see us, they've come out and like, we've had one of our friends that reached out to us saying, can we meet? And we both went, met him, we had a shawarma at Lafa, and he just sat in the back of my car and he was like, man, I've been seeing your podcast, seeing what you guys talk about. I just want to say you guys really changed my life. And he is a guy that honestly, we kept distance from him because he was like, it was not in line with what we wanted, because he liked to go to the clubs, drink a lot and all of that. And then all of a sudden, when he told us that you guys changed my life, I told Father, I was like, this is why I wanted to start a podcast, because I knew I could add some value to someone out there. And I told him, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because if ever, my goal is if one person can come and tell me, you have helped me change my life, I don't want to change someone else's life. I want to be able to help them help themselves.
Correct.
And when he said that to us, everything just went uphill for him. Like the last week on Wednesday, Fadil and that guy came over to my place. And then I started to realize he's helping my younger brother out with his music videos. Because he goes to a club, he's helping Aryan connect with a lot of people, and they're just sitting and doing productive work together. And when we sat, all three of us, we spoke, and he was telling us, man, being around you guys just feels like I'm like in a different environment. It's just good energy. But what was so sad to see was that a lot of close people around us they could not, I don't know if it's a belief system or what, or maybe it's that they knew who we were along the last couple of years. So they refused to believe that two people like us could have a significant change in mentality. Like, because me and him, I've always told everyone, we don't have a fixed outlook on life. I can speak for myself, my outlook on life changes based on new information provided. Like, the best example I can give you is my relationship with my father. My relationship with my father was not the best, because growing up, I've not had him and my mom around to like sit and talk about like personal stuff. It was just, okay, you come back from school, we'll spend some time, watch some TV and go. And then over the past 3 years, ever since COVID happened, it was just me and him at home. My younger brother was in Canada, older brother in Canada, mom in Canada. And I never really had because we've not spent time in the past together, we never really sat together and spent time as adults. And I think this comes from you, because like ever since I got introduced to you, and then we started having conversations, things that you constantly kept giving me information about, you and your wife always telling me especially, how you guys treat your kids, how the kids should also treat you with respect. So it made me think, like, because I always used to blame my dad, like, why doesn't he take any initiative to talk to me about my personal life? Then I was like, you know what? He's also human, I'm human. Let me just apply the same thing. I just made a complete switch, and I remember telling Father, I'm just going to go home, sit and have a conversation with him. And I did that once, and it was like the most stress-free conversation that I had with a parent in like years, because we started opening up about my past, about his past. Then he started telling me about the family, about what he used to do before, why he's in the position he is today, and like that really made me feel connected.
Okay.
And then my mom couldn't believe this, because my mom, like in perception in my family, is my dad's always like the violent, the abusive. He used to yell at us growing up, and it's an Indian family household thing. So being used to that, it completely switched. After that day, he's never raised his voice at me ever in his life. Whenever my mom or anyone comes in the middle of the conversation, it's always, he also tells my mom now, like, the boys are grown up. We can sit and talk like adults. We don't have to. You don't have to sit and stress about each one of your kids. Like, everyone's doing their own thing. Just talk with respect, have conversations, and go your own way. So
Good.
I give you a lot of credit to that, because
Thank you.
it's an eye opening thing for I told him the reason why we started podcast to help change someone's life, because I've come across a lot of people that's changed my life, and I always believe for the most positive. Like, the person who I was 2 years ago, I wouldn't want to be that person today.
Okay.
But the person that I am today, I'm very proud of myself. I'm happy. I don't have to prove anything to anybody
No,
else.
no.
And I'm so content with everything. Just
Sure.
key things in I don't know, in the whole aspect. So it just feels really good to be able to speak openly. But like I said, the near and dear ones are the tough ones to crack. But we always speak about it, and we say, like, hopefully people come
Will
around.
change. They will change. I keep telling him, because I'm a guy who's really good with thoughts, programming, and everything. I actually help people, like, change their thought process. You have to believe that this person will change. You can't keep telling my parents are not changing. This is what we used to speak about. We used to speak for hours, days. We used to sleep in his car, just speaking. We got through everything in our life just by sitting in a car and speaking. So we finally came to the conclusion. Our parents will change. They'll make understanding of who we are and what we've become.
Correct.
Same thing. His same journey. I was going through it too in similar patterns. Just one day after him, probably. And so I was learning from him. He's learning something from me, and we're just sharing information. And it was happening rapidly, because we would meet immediately after work, talk, and then next step. So when we were like, you know what? We believe they'll change. We have to dismiss, like how you mentioned, the negative feedback, and we have
Yes.
to keep our mindset and keep going. Yeah, and especially someone like, coming from a lot of experience, wisdom, you have a beautiful family, touch wood, everything always goes perfect. It's empowering for us. If we follow Javier's footsteps, we'll reach here. We follow the roadmap he's made, we create our own interpretation and move forward.
Correct.
We'll reach somewhere. We'll reach somewhere positive that we desire, the place we go. Even I want to ask you, like, how you mentioned that you broke the pattern. This is the most important thing when I teach people. Don't repeat the same pattern that your family, your generations have been doing. Create a new pattern. How did you and your wife, because a wife, a lady, many people consider these days that, I don't know why, but women don't possess equal amount of information or wisdom as men. Men are supposed to be the people who drive the entire thing, and women are just insignificant in much of the roles that they play. But obviously, as you see, you've put a lot of faith and dependence, love towards what your wife's intuition or wife's wisdom is too. Because it started from the journey where she told, you can go your way or we can do it together. You're like, you know what, this is more important, I did it. So you both built a beautiful family. I've met all your kids, and it's so beautiful who they are and what they've brought to my life too. How do you do this? Like, how are you breaking these patterns? Anush told me much of it, but I would love to hear like how you were taking these steps to breaking pattern, to creating beautiful relationship with your kids. And you mentioned a lot about discipline. And obviously, your kids growing up, I believe that you've given them a lot of freedom. But how do you inculcate this value of discipline and taking control of their life and being responsible human beings?
So let's start with the wife. For me, it was always a dream to have a person next to me that appreciate and it will be next to me for who I am, not for how much money or how much you can offer. And again, the right place, the right moment, she went back to Colombia after living her whole life. She landed in Colombia when she was 15 in the same neighborhood that I was, based on the divorce of my mom and my dad. Now I'm living with my grandma in the same neighborhood, and then life put it in front of me. I'm trying. I fell in love the first second that it's called the instant love. I fell in love the first second that I saw her, and the most powerful thing I remember, and I tell this to people, it was she was and she is beautiful, but back then we have all these guys with cars, motorcycles, and this is Javier going in 2 feet, right? Trying to impress her and ask her to go out and all that. And she chose me, the guy that doesn't have anything material, but maybe she saw a lot of potential. I was already in university, and something that really told me this is the woman of your life is when I asked her, like, hey, every Sunday they used to close the main road for people to ride their bicycles from 8 to 12. And then we walking in there, and I see all these little people, not little people, these little small businesses of people selling water, people selling lemon juice, and to try to get some money. So I told her, like, hey, I spend all the money, pay my rent and all that. You think, I'm thinking to maybe, like, come over here close to our house. Something that is easy to do is the, agua de panela con limón, that is the jaggery. You get the whole jaggery, put it in water, put some lemon, put some ice, and then go up there and sell it. And then she looked at me and said, yeah, sure, let's do this. And then we can get some money, we can go to the movies, and we can do this. And I'm like, man, if this lady has this Mazda Miata parked in front of her house, this guy asked him, like, hey, you wanna go out, go get some good dinner and all these things, and this guy is asking to go up there and sell some water, Jaggery water with lemon to make some money to go get burgers or go to the movies. I said, that needs to be my wife. She needs to be my wife. She's the person that actually it will be next to me for who I am, and on the journey, while I was, because remember, working 8 to 10 hours a day, go to university and all that, you need to have a strong partner next to you. So the full education of my kids in the younger, I would say in the early years, I give all the credit to my wife. What I was trying to do without voicing it is example. What did your dad working? What did your dad in university? What did your dad doing homework downstairs? Yeah, no, oh, dad is coming. No, dad is not coming. Dad has to do the homework. That was the way that I show my kids the discipline with example. I never sat down with them and say, like, you gotta be here. No, it's with example. With example. I would say the wisdom or the knowledge, the right advice, it was coming from my wife. I was just doing the example. And that gave me, when you have a person next to you that is building a family shoulder to shoulder, now that maybe people can say, oh, this guy is successful, right? And then now you see, especially here in Dubai, and it's crazy. Yeah. You see all these ladies looking at you like you are Tom Cruise. You are not Tom Cruise, right? But they know, you know what they're chasing, right? Oh, this guy work at Boeing, position, maybe stability. I will not sacrifice almost 30 plus years shoulder to shoulder, working shoulder to shoulder with my wife for 5 minutes of pleasure or something like that. That will be done on my side, and that will create an opportunity to go back
Downfall.
to downfall into what people had done in the past, and maybe now I'm not breaking the cycle anymore. I just repeating mistakes from the past and
Yeah.
people had done in the past, where you cross that border of respect,
Correct.
right? So that keep in my toes, because I'm a human being, man. I see, you get
course.
temptation all over the
It's a
world,
temptation
right?
to work, man.
But at the end of the day, it's not worth it to sacrifice a whole life working shoulder to shoulder with your wife to bring these kids the way that they are, the persons that they are right now. I give the full credit to my wife. I just show by example what the discipline is and hard work. My wife was the one that was there all the time, and even when she have a job, I remember my wife. It's a joke, my wife was pregnant for like 5 years because Angelina, Rafael, and almost Sophia, they are very close to each other. So you got 18, 17, and 15, right? And she was working online. She was going to work with a big belly. So it's a hard worker too. So it's a person, they know who you are. They help you. I am who I am today because of her.
Right.
It cannot be, oh yeah, because you are so smart, you are so successful professional. No, 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 no. It's a teamwork, and I am who I am today because of my wife, and I give a full credit to her for her patience, because I'm positive, and also I can be a difficult person when it comes to a relationship, right? Where call it for my OCD or whatever it is that I want things going that way, but you have to also compromise and count for other inputs. So at the end of the day, what is the best is not only your way, because sometimes you believe that your way is the way, when in reality it cannot be,
Yeah.
right? So, but I would say, for me, my wife is everything. My kids, and I don't have a really good. I would say I don't have a close relationship with my extended family, and maybe it was because of even everything that happened in the journey, right? My brother is 14 years older than me. When I was a teenager, he was already married with kids and all that, so I was kind of like trying surviving on my own. When my father and mother is split or they got divorced, my brother tried to do and survive, and I'm not blaming him, man, for that. Actually, that may be the character that I had, but I did not have, and I can say this clearly, I did not have this big brother saying how you doing until I was in university, 16, 17. But remember, and I start this journey of instability like around 8, 9, 10. So he tried to get stable on his own, and I did not have that big brother help until maybe 16, 17, when I was in university. He said, hey, don't take these classes. If you don't have money to eat lunch, you please come to my house. I will tell the person that cooked for us that you're gonna come and eat, so you can go to university with your belly full. And I don't dismiss that, but I will give full credit to my wife for all the support, everything that she provides, and especially for the kids that we have right now. It's all her. Just show with example what discipline, hard work, and perseverance. Because if you go back to my journey, right, 18 years to finish one engineer degree, but I got to the finish line. Yeah. So that was the key for me, to show with example, and I'm learning. I'm learning because nowadays is a different generation, more sensitive, more open. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to be told things that right now, if you said that, then you say, oh, you're gonna get canceled. That's what people said, right? Because
you say the wrong stuff.
Yeah, you say the wrong stuff. People are more sensitive, and I appreciate that, because people need to speak up, right? I appreciate that, but I'm learning with my kids, the new, because the world evolve, and you cannot stop yourself, and whatever works for you in the 70s or 80s, that's the way that now it's gonna you're gonna go through life right now. There you need to learn, you need to grow, you need to
Yeah.
develop some skills to survive, and the kids also help you with the new generation
The mindset's
mindset and all these things. So,
Yeah, that's what we always say. Student of life,
correct.
constant learning process. You
Correct.
told you won, you achieved, but you're still like ready to learn more. You don't know where life is taking you, but you know it's a positive uncertainty. But it's very interesting because you know what I've learned from this is, and it motivates me also in my relationships how to move forward. Your wife is constantly holding that space for you, that when you come back, it's a safe space. You don't have to stress, you don't have to worry about when you come back, you have to deal with some stress at home. Your wife's gonna nag you, or your kids are constantly pissed at the dad because the wife's not positively reaffirming them that whatever dad is doing is for the betterment of us. So this is like the foundation of like huge power couples of beautiful relationship which you pass on to your kids, they pass on to the future generation, because it's about clearing all that emotional trauma from the previous patterns, and now you've created a generation or a line. This is generational wealth.
And that's why you break the cycle. That's the way that you
Exactly.
break the
It's
cycle.
so beautiful to see someone who's done it, and for us to like know that journey that we always speak about. It's here now. Like you've done it. We're doing in the same journey. It's beautiful, Javier. Like the way your entire life is. 18 years of perseverance is crazy. That's like many people give up because they constantly compare, right? That's like what everyone has in this new generation or this time. Comparison is a theft of joy, right? So they're constantly comparing, man, but like that lady's husband is doing this and this. It's been 1 year. You told next year we would be sorted, but it's been 18 years. That's beautiful because I believe what she sees was not, she came from probably a really good family of like money and everything, right? Like as you mentioned. So she knew that there is material, there are people with material goods, but when it all goes down, what can this person offer for me? And that's what you are offering. It's very important. Not many people are as positive as you are. It's so hard to be positive. Like people just want someone positive, calming them down. That's all you need. Someone to be positively reaffirming you. So she knew that, at least from intuitive or like from observing you, that okay, Javier is someone, when all the shit goes down, he's still there for me. Similarly, for you too, she was that person that when everything goes down, I still have my woman in my side who's gonna, back me up from whatever it is. So it's beautiful. I think we can end this podcast. Do you want to end it? I feel like you would be someone who'd give a beautiful gem to the people who are watching, whether it's corporate, because whatever you've told about corporate, whatever you told about life, do you have any final gems for the people?
Well, I think I would like to go over some kids' advices for the people, right? And the first one is don't be afraid to get out of the comfort zone. That's one, if you want to grow up in life, just make sure that when you see an opportunity, because it happens to my life the whole time when I'm joining a new job and I don't know anything about it, and it's a little bit challenge because you have to learn and perform, but it's not impossible. And then when you finish that journey, you see how much you have learned and grow. So please don't get afraid to get out of your comfort zone. When you feel that you are the expert on something, try to challenge yourself and see if you can explore another sides or aspects of life where you are in this constant learning mode. The second one, I would say, make sure that you educate your brain to get to the finish line. It's very important, that is gonna open the doors for the people that maybe have this magic wand to open the door for you. When you get to the finish line and you deliver, you're gonna show perseverance, hard work, and then make sure that you do everything with excellence. That's gonna give you that's gonna differentiate between you and the others, right?
Right.
So that would be the two key aspects that I would say, and then at the end of the day, life is a journey. Don't go yourself, and put your mindset in the money. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. I tell my kids, what do you do if you have, $10 million? right now in the bank, but you know that you have X days of life because you died of a terminal cancer, right? Steve Jobs, clear example, right? Millionaire, he did not enjoy his money, you know. Then enjoy the journey. Don't concentrate yourself everything on the finance. The finance comes along when you chase opportunities and you don't chase money. You will be happy in what you do. If you are happy in what you do, again, you are engaged, ownership, you deliver results, you'll be successful. So that will be my closing comments on that one.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Javier.
No, I thank you for the opportunity